two times, I think almost in a row, that we get to give a round of applause. You know, it's very funny because once again we come out of a game and
Mhm.
I'm like, wow, what did I say? What did I say that people will get mad at me for? And it's talking down on Snoop. Talking down on Snoop. No, you can't disrespect Snoop. You can't disrespect him. That man is special. We should get rid of Lamar. Lamar's too much money. We should go with Snoop. This man right here, because he played well in the preseason, this is the man. Joshua, Ravens lose to the Steelers. John Harbaugh had his press conference today. How you feeling?
Um, Man, I'll be honest with you. I was pissed off. I was pissed as hell last night. I said it last night. It was a lot on. It was a lot on the line. You know, it was so much. We still in control of our destiny, but with us losing, we still open up the Pandora's box for other opportunities for other teams to just come in and knock us out. I know people were talking about this could possibly be the last game that we play in M&T. The last time we won a Super Bowl, we didn't have a game going through M&T. I mean, yeah, can I still be hopeful? I guess because I'm still a Ravens fan. But the reality of it is, as of right now, I don't see us getting past the first round, wild card, whatever the case may be. Especially with the style of offense that's being shown. Um, it's ridiculous. What bothered me the most is the stretch plays. You're going against a 6-man defensive front, and you telling me you're going to try to stretch the hell out of this run play. No, my good friend. It's time to run the ball up the middle because you could have got many of yards, in my opinion. Of course, if they did it, well, we did see it. Uh, J.K. Dobbins did get up the field in the middle of the hole, bounced out. And honestly, Patrick Ricard, that should have been a game for him to eat against T.J. Watt. The reason I say that because that was old school style of football. If you're going to constantly run the ball down your opponent's throat, and me as a former fullback, I played for St. Francis Academy. If anybody in Baltimore knows St. Francis Academy, and Cyrus, thank you for the super chat. Yeah, exactly. But like I was saying, if you're a Baltimore native, you know anything about St. Francis Academy football now. They're pretty much a powerhouse. They've been running through teams. Um, when before they became a powerhouse, we played against a team out in Towson, Maryland, and I told my quarterback, I said, you know what, if we're gonna run the ball, tell my running back's gonna run behind me, and that middle linebacker that was the running back on the opposing team, he's gonna be mine all day, all night. Don't nobody touch him. I'm gonna work his ass out, and my running back is gonna get the touchdown. Patrick Ricard, I don't care how much T.J. Watt was ducking and dodging. Patrick Ricard should have said, you know what, this is your mission tonight. Put him on his ass constantly, and my running backs are going to eat. But no one took that charge, even with Marlon Humphrey. I know everybody's scared of George Pickens, but honestly, the best wide receiver in that group is Deontay Johnson. And Deontay Johnson was showing why he's the best wide receiver in that group. He's very quick. He has great route running. And Brandon Stevens is still a young corner. He just started playing corner. It frustrated me. It frustrated me. Like I can't take nothing away from Roquan Smith. He was running across all over the damn field. He literally was playing the run off of Kenny Pickett, and Kenny Pickett just pulled back and threw the lob to Najee Harris and won the game. I can't be mad at that. That was just smart football, smart IQ. Um, so yeah, I was very ticked off during the game.
Yeah, that game was frustrating. I want to get to what Cyrus was saying. Same garbage from John Harbaugh. Nothing's going to change. First off, press conference today. John Harbaugh was like, "Man, I was really frustrated that Gus Edwards only got 2 carries or 5 carries, whatever it was. That can't happen, John. That's your job. Like making sure the running back plays and making sure the personnel that you want out there, like that's your job. You can't just delegate every facet of being a head coach to everybody else because it's not working. And then it comes down to these post-game press conferences. And every time it's like, well, Greg's got to scheme that up a little bit better. Or, we rely on that call. What does John Harbaugh do? If he doesn't have any impact on personnel, play calling, all he does is throw challenge flags and go for it on fourth down. That's all he does. That's legitimately all he does. And it's so frustrating. And scheming a way to get a sack, I feel like we did scheme a way to get a sack. He just didn't finish. He chased down Kenny. I feel like Oweh actually played a pretty good game. He got some tackles on Najee.
Yeah, so he actually got tackled. He actually got the field.
He beat he had a great move, beat the right tackle, got across. Kenny Pickett's right hand. He rolled out to the right, and Oweh forced the throwaway. I think it was a completion, but he forced him to throw the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't improve on that. He played a decent game, in my opinion. I don't think it was terrible. But this game highlighted the exact problems that we have faced for the last 2-3 seasons, which are that, first of all, Greg Roman doesn't understand personnel and how to utilize them, because John Harbaugh even came out in the press conference and was like, yo, why wasn't Gus out there? Like, Greg Roman does not utilize things like that. And then I thought this was hilarious because Chris Collinsworth is one of those guys that loves Greg Roman. And he was talking about it. He was like, oh, man, this genius Greg Roman. And Cyrus, thank you so much again for the super chat. Since John doesn't do anything but hand out work assignments, we don't have the guts to hold anybody accountable. That's facts, Cyrus, 100%. And basically what happens is Chris Collins was like, man, yeah, he just does such a good job designing all these plays. And then you know what he says? So Tyler Huntley's second read is always to run. And it's because of the way that the scheme is going. That should never be. Your scheme is one read, then run. That is why players don't get drafted. That is why players don't succeed in the NFL. That is why a lot of these mobile quarterbacks, these athletic quarterbacks, why they weren't getting to the NFL was because the whole thought was, okay, they see one read. If it's not there, they're going to run. That was the whole reason why people stopped doing that. And then, we finally started to get them, and, we started to get the Culpeppers. We started to get the Michael Vicks. And it was like, yeah, they could run, but they would at least go through their progressions. Tyler Huntley doesn't go through progressions. He looks at Mark Andrews and then runs. He looks at that, and that's why he has such a high completion percentage, because he never waits. He never waits for a second read. And I recognized this in the game, and I was watching the game, and I go, this is the biggest issue with him, is that he can't go through a progression. He has low football IQ. He has low game instincts. We saw a play on third down, I think it was, but he threw the ball up to Deshaun Jackson in the end zone, and it was incomplete. And I was like, he's completely covered. And he threw that quickly. I'm like, there was a clean pocket. He was completely covered. I think this was to end the first half. And then we had the penalty, so it was able to balance out, so it worked. But he threw that, and I was like, why? Like, you're sitting there.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he threw it to think he was going to get a pass interference. I think we had a little bit more time. But it's like, dude, you're in the end zone. It's the Ravens-Steelers game. It's a rivalry. It's a lot of stuff they're going to let go.
Yeah. like he could have held on to it. Like, Huntley's got legs. He could run. Like, wait for Mark Andrews to get open and make a play. And that's one of the things that Lamar Jackson does so well is, he's able to hold on to the football and be like, where's the read? Where's the read? Where's the read? And the best player, I think, in the history of the NFL at doing that was Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson was the king of nope. Oh, look at that. Boom. Took me 15 seconds, but Doug Baldwin finally got open. I'm going to hit him. Boom, big play. Tyler Huntley is not that. Lamar Jackson does a good job, and he's able to wait, and he finds Mark Andrews on these types of plays. Huntley doesn't do that. And it's just so bad to watch, where you're just like, dude, why are you throwing it? Like, you don't even need to throw it. And Void, thank you so much for the super chat. It says, I fear the worst. Harbs wants to take Roman the head coach. Harbs wants to make Roman the head coach. Harbs, I don't know what Harbs wants. I honestly don't. Like, his press conference was so frustrating, and it's gotten worse and worse. He was like, A+ effort all around. What the fuck does that mean?
Seriously? A+ effort all around? honestly, the best damn play was Justice Hill running for like 60 yards.
That was a great return, man. That was good stuff.
No, I honestly thought he was going to take it to the crib. He was one more broken tackle away from to the crib, man.
And the fact that we go loss of 2 yards, then I think incomplete pass was how it went on that drive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually going to double check that. I'm going to go to the play-by-play because it was, first of all, the Ravens' second half was just so bad. They had like 70 yards. 3 plays, negative 2 yards. So, yeah, Justice Hill returns to the 40. J.K. Dobbins -2, and then double incomplete pass from Tyler Huntley, and then a punt. And, like, they can't capitalize. The play calling is bad in capitalizing these situations. When they finally get a big play, whether it's defense, whether it's special teams, whatever it is, they can never capitalize. And they just, I mean, we got bailed out. We shouldn't have scored a touchdown in this game. They had a bad penalty.
Yeah, it was like it pretty much, the last man got caught. I mean, if you see the whole damn play, I'm not gonna say Hayward's in the wrong. I mean, big guys, they have that they fight in the trenches. He was still holding on to Zeitler, still pushed him up. Ronnie Stanley was like, "Yo, you pushed my teammate." So it pretty much was a reaction. I feel like they could have let it go, but I mean, hey, it's like some calls was going to go their way, some calls was going to go our way, and that was ours.
Cyrus, thank you so much again for the super chat. It says bigger than Hunt the offense been asked since 1996.
Man, not since they got here, Cyrus. Sheesh. But I mean,
the Ravens have had one good offensive year.
I was gonna say I can't really debate that. I mean, the only decent offensive run we had was that 2012 run. I thought that was the best run.
Yeah. And one more super chat. Thank you so much. Why he's so ignorant. Thank you so much. Says it's sad we'll never get to know how good this team could have been this year if we had better coaching and injury management. I don't know about injury management. It's kind of tough. Just if the injuries are able to stay healthy, but coaching, I mean, this is a good roster. Obviously, it's not the best roster, but it's a decent roster, and they look barbaric. And I'm going to add someone into this call. You guys, some people have seen Matt. Matt and I do play action football together. And so, if you guys follow us on TikTok or Instagram or wherever over there, Matt, welcome in. How you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. As a Niners fan, if I'm talking about the Ravens, I'm assuming you guys aren't feeling too good right now. I get why the offense sucks. I mean, to me, it's not really a surprise when you're looking at this season. You look at the defensive personnel, you look at the offensive personnel. It's extremely different, which is really weird because last year the offense was good for the Ravens for the most part of the season, but it was good for the Ravens because Lamar was just going off, and the defense was horrible. The defense was so bad last year, especially the secondary. So this year you kind of have it like, oh, we fixed our defensive problems, but you trade away Hollywood Brown. Bateman gets kind of banged up. You don't really see him. And all of a sudden, and Dobbins gets hurt. And all of a sudden, you're like, we have nobody. We have no weapons. And then Lamar goes down. And then you have Tyler Huntley, who I don't even know if he's thrown 150 yards in a game yet this season. Like, I'm serious. I think he might have had one. But I was just kind of looking at his box score because I watched him last night. I've watched him in a couple games. But, I mean, it's rough offensively. I don't think the coaching is good. And we've talked about this a lot, Makana. But I don't know. I get the frustrations, but I'm also not really that surprised because of the offensive personnel.
Matt, I just want to ask you, because initially when Tyler Huntley first started playing, I remember like we were talking, and it was like, oh, it's Tyler Huntley guy maybe. And I was like, dude, you got to watch him. Like, trust me, this guy's ass. Because the media, it's so funny because the media, and like, you ever talk to anybody that like doesn't watch Ravens games, and they'll be like, not like people at work, they'll be like, oh man, why didn't the Ravens win last night? Like, they got Huntley, like they got this thing. And I'm like, where does this Huntley is good narrative come from? Because everybody believes he's good. Like every single, like the media hypes him up, but it's like, he plays okay in the preseason. I don't even think he plays well in the preseason. The Ravens defense gets 5 turnovers a game in the preseason. That's why the Ravens have won freaking 25 preseason games in a row, is they force turnovers every game. He doesn't look that good. But anytime, like casually, if you guys know football fans that aren't Ravens fans, ask them this week. So like, hey, what do you think of Tyler Huntley? I guarantee you they're going to think he's good. And like, oh yeah, he's kind of a really perfect Lamar replacement, can kind of do similar things. They are not the same. They are so bad. Like, that is one of the worst comparisons that you could make. Tyler Huntley has he has no ability to read a defense. He just, man, I was telling Joshua about this. I don't think I've ever seen him go to a second progression.
No.
It's run.
No. Like, you know what bothered me most about the game is that they had a minute left and you expected him to drive down the field for like 80 yards and he hasn't thrown over 20 yards. Like, you got to be shitting me, bud.
He made that throw. Like, when he threw that in, first of all, we haven't talked about this. That final drive was so poorly managed. Like, they come out. I need to pull up the box score so I can look at the exact plays that they call. But they come out and they do the incomplete pass to Isaiah Likely, whatever. They get the incomplete pass to Linderbaugh or to Deshaun Jackson. It's a holding. They get the 18-yard pass. I think the pass to Mark Andrews was fine. That next play, it took 25 seconds. 45 seconds left. Tyler Huntley passed short middle to Mark Andrews. 20 seconds left. Tyler Huntley passed short to middle to Mark Andrews for 5 yards. He went out there, like, because they get to the huddle and they're all kind of like they had no idea how to run the 2-minute offense. And he's kind of like, oh, yeah, here you go. And I think Justice Hill lines up next to him. And he's like, no, you got to go over here. And he's like sending guys to the right location. I'm like, dude, what is this management? Like, do you have any idea how to run a 2-minute offense? They didn't have like plays set or anything. And they were just kind of going out there. First of all, don't call a 5-yard instant dump down when you have no timeouts and there's 20 seconds left.
That blew me too. Like,
they got lucky that the penalty happened for all the Steelers like grabbing the ball away.
Yeah.
Because there was going to be maybe 15 or 10 seconds left in the game when they got the ball, and there's no way Tyler Huntley's throwing a Hail Mary from there.
Yeah, no, it's I don't think he's any good. I mean, he's played in, I think it's 8. Yeah, I was just pulling it up. 8 games in his career, and he's thrown 5 touchdowns and 7 picks in 8 games. This year, he has 2 touchdowns in 5 games. That's atrocious.
How many picks does he have this year? Does it say?
Huh?
How many interceptions does he have this year?
This year, 2 and 3. But he hasn't really like forced the ball. I mean, he's completing the ball.
Yeah, he doesn't wait enough time to be able to force the ball. It's literally just snap, throw, gain 1 yard.
Yeah, I mean, and especially just because everything's a check down. Like there's no type of pushing the ball. Like, and like if you look at like how much the Ravens are scoring with him at quarterback too, and also it wasn't very good for Lamar either this year, which is the part that sucks. But 10 points, 16 points, 3 points. 3 points, 17 points, 13 points. That's awful. That's terrible. And like the Ravens defense is legit. Like
I was telling Matt about the Ravens defense, and it's so funny because Joshua, you can back me up on this. People blame the Ravens. You know, hold on. I've already seen it in the chat. Cyrus, thank you so much for the super chat. I will get to that in 1 second. But this was like in the first 10 comments. Hold on. I saw it. Someone was blaming the defense early. Where is this?
Well, Matt, I just want to congratulate you guys.
Oh, wait. No.
For the simple fact that y'all have great coaching. Y'all pretty much don't have a QB. Debo's out. Y'all make the move to get Christian McCaffrey and Brock Purdy. Another guy that's never really been heard of is making a lot of noise still on your offensive side of the ball. You know, what's another team I've been bringing up? You know, that was an injury plagued team, but you know, when we played against them last year, whipped our ass. The Miami Dolphins. They knew their personnel and they worked out on this, man. It's like we don't have the coaching ability. We don't have the coaches to develop these guys in order to get the best out of them. It's like it's ridiculous.
Dude, and I think you bring up like the Niners, for instance. The Niners are starting Brock Purdy right now, and it's like, and I will say he actually has looked good, but like, come on, he's a rookie last pick in the draft, right?
Yeah.
And the reason why the Niners offense is so good is because they just have studs on studs on studs. They have so many guys. You have Brandon Ayuk that plays a very specific role in the receiving room. You have Deebo Samuel.
Brandon Ayuk sucks. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Matt and I love Brandon Ayuk. We argue with people all the time on Brandon Ayuk.
And it's like, but you look at it and it's like you see like different roles that guys are playing, and then you look at the Ravens, and like right now, DeMarcus Robinson is your best option.
Greg Roman thinks it's Patrick Ricard.
Well, he thought
that's
that when
his wide receiver one.
He thought that when you guys had other guys there as well. So
yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's true too.
Like, and I like Patrick Ricard, but like,
give me my original fullback back, man.
Yeah.
Can we get Kyle Juszczyk?
Send him back, man.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like, you got to have like high end guys at all of the positions on offense, or at least a couple weapons. I mean, we saw how good. Like, Andrews is great. Everyone knows Andrews is great. Likely looks like he's going to be a stud one day. He already plays pretty well. They don't even use Likely enough. First of all, like they don't use him that much, and you're like, why aren't you running 2 tight end sets? Because everyone's stacking the box against.
The 2 tight end sets have Oliver in it.
Hey, stretch him out. Put him at wide receiver. What I've been saying since.
Yeah, he's a better option out of the slot, and just have him play like a big slot type position. Which, I mean, you don't really see that too much in today's game because a lot of guys are built off speed. But like, you got to work with your personnel because you didn't draft any. Like, I like some of the Ravens draft picks. I like both their first round picks last year, but like, you're not taking any receivers. Like, you're not putting any capital in the receiver outside of Bateman in like 5 years. Like, how many? Like, I guess Hollywood too, but then you moved him, so it's like that's like it.
I don't know how you move. I mean, the Ravens and the Titans made the exact same mistake. Titans, I think, a little bit more so because A.J. Brown was everything to that passing game. But the Ravens did the same thing. They traded away their wide receiver 1 and brought in nobody. At least the Titans were like, hey, Robert Woods, who's kind of an established wide receiver at least, you can come over. The Ravens were like, yeah, like we're rocking this out.
I would love to go back into the archives and find our reaction video to that, man. That was so hurtful.
I was happy with it. I was so happy because that video was made right when the Ravens took Kyle Hamilton. It was at the end of that the Ravens made that trade or whatever. And like I was excited because I was expecting the Ravens to get another wide receiver at some point, and then they just never did. And then it was like, we signed DeMarcus Robinson, who's been cut by the practice squad of the Oakland Raiders. And it was like, yeah, there's the guy we needed. There he is.
All right, I gotta comment to a couple of different things here. So someone said Lamar Jackson wasn't better. Let's look up the offense, how the offense performed, and then let's look up his numbers. So actually, I'll give you his numbers first. He had 17 tutties, 7 picks, over a yard per attempt higher, lower completion percentage. But that's because Lamar pushes it. But here's where it matters. And that's not even counting rushing. 24 points, 38 points, 37 points, 20 points, 19 points, 20, 23, 27, 27, 13, 27, 10. I'm sorry, I don't think that 10 was right. I don't think, that one.
The 10 was the Broncos game. You played a quarter of that.
Yeah. So the first ones. Dude, you didn't get over 20 points any games with Huntley. You got over 20, I think, every single one but one. And he's putting up good numbers. Like, he was putting up good numbers. And the other thing that I saw was someone said weapons with a question mark to the Niners, and then they dissed my guy Brandon Ayuk. Weapons, they might have the most weapons in the league. You have Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk. Is there a top 4 unit that's better?
The Ravens.
You know,
like, is there, like, I'm thinking the Bengals, but like the Bengals are more like a top 3.
Maybe the Eagles.
No, you could go Bengals. You could go Bengals because Tyler Boyd's really good. Too.
Nah, I would take the Niners over the Bengals. Like, I mean, the tight end is so much better. The running back is so much better. Like, I think it's the Niners. But I think that's, like, very clear. And it's funny because, like, if you look, let's go through the NFL teams right now in the playoffs. Playoff teams currently. And look at the weapons. And thank you, Jonathan, so much. We're not putting on Lamar on IR because you have to wait 3 weeks to be able to return, so he wouldn't be able to play in the playoffs. That's why. That is why he's not on IR.
No, but sorry, I don't know. There's an alarm going off, so sorry if you guys are getting that. But he meant before, because you already missed all those games.
Because Harbaugh has no idea. And they're just like, the Ravens with injuries, they're just like
they
day to day or week to week. And I told Matt this, like, I've said this on live streams. I'm like, dude, like, Lamar got hurt, and I was like, yeah, they're saying the same thing they said last year. Last year, they said he was day to day for 4 weeks, and then we're like, okay, he's week to week. And then they waited another 2 weeks, and then they were like, okay, so he's on IR for the rest of the year. And you're like, dude, why? The Ravens needed to win 1 game, and they could have made the playoffs. And they made it seem like Lamar could come back, and they didn't. But let's go through the playoff teams right now. In terms of weapons and coaching, AFC number 1 seed right now is the Kansas City Chiefs. I think they're decent at coaching, and their weapons are Travis Kelce. They added Juju in the Chiefs, prime example of exactly what the Ravens did. They lost their number 1 wide receiver. You know what they did? They were like, hey, Juju, why don't you come over here? Is Juju as good as Tyreek? No, but he's a competent starting wide receiver that can make plays. Then they drafted a running back. And they were like, hey, yeah, look at that.
And don't forget Kadarius Toney, where where obviously
go after Kadarius.
Rejuvenated.
They went after Kadarius was that a trade deadline or a week before the trade deadline, something like that?
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, look at that. We brought in somebody. The Ravens were like, ooh, Sammy Watkins, the 4th best wide receiver on the Packers, even though the Packers are known as having one of the worst receiving corps in the NFL. It's still an upgrade for the Ravens. Number 2, some team called the Buffalo Bills. They've got McDermott. I think he's a pretty good coach. And then Stephon Diggs. They made some trades. They actually traded away some pieces, some running backs, but they drafted a running back. And they have very good wide receivers. That seems like something to do. Number 3 team, Cincinnati Bengals. They got great weapons. They've drafted consistent. They didn't get T. Higgins or Jamar Chase and be like, all right, we're done. They were like, hey, let's get Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Or they didn't get T. Higgins and say, all right, we're done. We're not getting anybody. They were like, actually, there's this other guy, receiver. He's pretty good. His name's Jamar. Let's get him. Next team is the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're 8-8, but still, you know what they did this offseason? They went after a ton of weapons. And they went after Christian Kirk. I think they signed Zay Jones. I think they signed Evan Ingram. They drafted ETN last year, but they made plays. And so, like, they did things. And also they hired a new coach, Doug Peterson, a Super Bowl winning head coach. And I don't know if Super Bowl winning is very good, staple, because otherwise Harbaugh would get praise. So would Mike McCarthy. Next up, the Chargers. Head coach, not very good. Weapons and acquisitions. Oh, did they trade for Khalil Mack and also have elite wide receivers and running backs?
I honestly, look, they do have the weapons, but as far as how they function, I think they function worse than you guys.
Oh,
horrible coaching staff.
Terribly.
And the Khalil Mack thing, I mean, Khalil Mack, you guys also tried with the Bears as well for Roquan Smith, so you can kind of make that one a wash. But they also have 2 wide receivers that have been hurt all season. So, I mean, they're back though, and they're in the playoffs.
Yeah,
and they're jumping you guys right now too. So
yeah, they did jump the Ravens. It's kind of frustrating. Then you have the New England Patriots, and some people like to say that Mac Jones is very good, and they argue with me saying that I don't watch him. If you think Mac Jones is leading the New England Patriots, I think you can retire from watching sports.
You know what? How much you bet? How much you want to bet the New England Patriots draft Max Duggan and Mac Jones loses his job to Max? I see it happening.
They could probably get him in the undrafted thing. Like, they could just go out. I mean, like, Zappy came in and looked just as good as Mac Jones.
Exactly.
And it's just like, oh yeah, look at all this stuff. And the Ravens are just so dysfunctional with, okay, they have added 0 weapons for the Ravens this year. Like, they drafted some offensive players, but one was a running back.
That hasn't. He's still not. Is he
He's
even
actually on the Broncos.
I was about to say, I knew he got cut for us. Like, but shut up. But if we listen to Emmanuel Acho and other people, they got weapons for Lamar Jackson. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Emmanuel Acho, I think, is one of the worst analysts ever because he talks like he knows what he's talking about, and he's just like he just goes out there and he's like, "You guys can't discredit me. I'm an award-winning author," and like that's what he says on Twitter. He's like, "I'm an award-winning author. This is my side gig." I'm like, "You suck at your side gig. You don't know how to analyze things. You think that Justin Herbert sucks and is something called a social media quarterback because he makes insane plays that nobody else can make. He sees Justin Herbert's great plays as a negative and sees Tua's terrible plays as, nah, that's just who he is. He doesn't have to make these crazy plays." And it's like, what are you talking about? And then he goes out and he goes, "The Ravens have given Lamar weapons." No, they've attempted to give him weapons. The weapons don't work, right? He gave him the lightsaber without the kyber crystal, all right? Yeah, it looks like a lightsaber, but it doesn't turn on. All right. We gave Lamar Jackson a man by the name of Miles Boykin. All right. That was the highest drafted wide receiver the Ravens had until they drafted Rashad Bateman outside of Hollywood Brown. Was Miles Boykin.
Shout out to Miles last night. He was getting his block on too.
He was getting his blocking in. Chris Collinsworth brought it up. He was like a blocking wide receiver right there. And I was like, that sounds like a Ravens receiver role. That sounds like all the Ravens receivers.
Dude, I bet you that was honestly like a lot of the reason they drafted him. Like that's something that Greg Roman would be looking at.
Got to. Like
I also saw apparently so Kurt Warner picked your guys' passing game apart a while back. Someone commented that.
Oh yeah, Kurt Warner, Steve Smith Sr., tons of people.
yeah,
Dude, because if you just watch it,
Anybody watches the Ravens offense, Dan Orlovsky, like they all watch the Ravens offense and they go, "What is this? What is this?" And it's just like what are you supposed to do? And every veteran NFL wide receiver that has come to the Ravens has left and been like, "What the fuck did I just get myself into?" Des Bryant left and was like, "Greg Roman has no idea what he's doing. We run plays and Lamar's showing like, oh, he can high point the ball. We're running these fades in the end zone." And he's like, "We're filthy in the red zone." And then Greg Roman starts calling plays in the red zone. It looks terrible. Willie Snead, who's not even good, came to the Ravens and came out and was like, "Dude, this Greg Roman guy is so bad." Deshaun Jackson put out this emoji on his story. Deshaun Jackson is a deep threat, but they can't run deep routes with him. You know what we did? We signed Deshaun Jackson and Andy Isabella. And Andy Isabella came in to run a jet sweep. That's the only route that he ran.
McConnell, why would you send a jet sweep against a 6-man front too? Like,
towards TJ Watt too. That's also the Ravens' strategy was to run it at TJ Watt too. Like they kept like, "Ricard, you're gonna pull across and you're gonna hit TJ," and it's like Ricard just misses every time.
Now, in old school football, that could have worked, but like if Patrick Ricard does not have the agility as TJ Watt, if he did, it would be a different story. Like I said earlier, like if you're going to play these type of smash mouth games, there has to be someone in that huddle, on that team, and step up to the plate. You say, "No, you know what? I'm gonna knock this dude on his ass every play. I don't care how long. You know what? I'm gonna go guard NFL young boy, or I'm gonna go guard this guy. Whoever's going off, I'm gonna go guard him. You know what? As a defensive end, I'm gonna go slap this tackle in his helmet every damn down, and I'm gonna go get Kenny Pickett. I'm gonna make Kenny Pickett feel it, even when the ball is out of his hand." But the simple fact of it, the NFL is not dressed up like that no more. It is getting a little soft, so you can't play like that to a certain degree. And you don't have those type of guys. You just don't have those type of guys anymore.
And it's also weird. I want to show everyone a video really quickly because I thought this was hilarious. Hold on. How do I share screen? Here we go. Try have to give myself ability to do this. This is so annoying. Matt will be back. Don't worry. Never mind. I can't do it. Basically, it was the video on Tyler Huntley every time he decides to take off. It's the guy that dives into the car because that's exactly what he does. So I thought y'all got quiet because Roman got fired.
If only, bro. If only. He's going to finish the season out.
Okay, so I was gonna say this. When it's off-season time, because I'm sorry, but I don't have a lot of faith in the Ravens right now. If you guys were to trade for DeAndre Hopkins, obviously keep Lamar, franchise him, do whatever you got to do to keep him in uniform another season, and get rid of Greg Roman, do you know how much better the team would be? Like, Matt, just that. Hopkins wouldn't even be that crazy. He's old, but he's still good.
Sean Payton, Lamar Jackson, DeAndre Hopkins, and J.K. Dobbins.
It sounds beautiful, but
that would be one of the all-time great offenses.
But who's firing? Who's gonna fire John or Greg? That's the real question.
We gotta keep sending these letters. The letters got to Greg. We know they got to Greg because Matt, I don't know if you saw this. Tyus Bowser put on his Instagram story. There were handwritten letters that just said "Fire Greg Roman," and there were dozens of them. And he put it on his Instagram story last week. Tyus Bowser, Ravens linebacker, puts out, and the Ravens organization was not happy because he took it down and he had talked with Greg Roman, but they were asking about a press conference. Hey, have you guys talked to him about these letters? Bro, we need.
I don't even think Greg Roman will get fired. I think it'll be
his contract is up.
Yeah, we decided to move on from Greg Roman, and then they're gonna be because Harbaugh can't fire his guy. I mean, you know that I already watched him suck for the Niners for years.
Oh yeah.
I know the Greg Roman
yeah, Greg Roman to the Bears.
Don't do that to Justin Fields, please. He's already rocking with Dante Pettis and I don't even know who.
That's a Greg Roman wide receiver corps if I've ever seen one. That is a great. Thank you so much for the super chat number.
Did you hear what Urban Meyer said? He said CJ Stroud is light years beyond Fields. I'm I don't know. It's arguable.
Fields is filthy this year. Fields looks so good this year.
Fields is rocking with hot garbage. He's rocking with worse than what you guys got because at least you got Andrews. His best wideout right now is Cole Kmet or Dante Pettis. Dante Pettis has already played on 6 teams.
His best wide receiver is hurt, right?
Yeah, Mooney's gone, and he played a game or two with Claypool that they traded their 34th overall pick for 1 year of Chase Claypool, 1 year and 3 games.
Matt and I made a TikTok about that, and people said we had no idea what we were talking about when we said that was one of the worst trades we've ever seen.
Whoever thought that was a good trade was smoking dope.
Yeah, I mean, Justin Fields has over 1,000 rushing yards, and he doesn't throw for a lot of yards, but who's gonna throw the ball to? There's nothing. They usually target. I think that most games, Monty and Herbert are probably their leading 2 guys that they target because they can only run screens and run the football.
Oh yeah,
it's really wild.
Nice. It's really nice for my fantasy team having David Montgomery.
Do you guys notice that a lot of teams in the NFL right now are either they have guys at a bunch of good deep receiving core, or they have nothing. That's what it feels like. Because most teams are pretty solid. And then there's just some teams like the Giants, the Ravens,
the Bears.
The Bears.
You could argue the Packers, but the Packers receivers have stepped up.
Watson's on.
They drafted at the beginning of the year watching the Packers, it was okay, this is atrocious.
Yeah.
This isn't gonna work because it was Randall Cobb and Romeo Dobbs.
I'm so happy they put Christian Watson in. I low-key might have to get a Christian Watson jersey, man. I don't know.
Dude, the Christian Watson jersey goes hard. Shout out. I just want to give a shout out right now. Shout out to the Minnesota Vikings right now. Shout out to my guy Jake, Vikings fan. Vikings were robbed by the refs. Okay. It was atrocious. Jair did not have any effect on Justin Jefferson. Zero effect Jair Alexander had on Justin Jefferson, apparently. Yeah, that can back up that statement because that was said multiple times. Jair played zero impact on the outcome of that game.
Oh, shout out! Hey, we gotta give them a shout out, man. Shout out to the Detroit Lions, man.
I hate the Lions.
I got you, man.
I hate them.
I got you, man.
McConnell's never gonna give him credit.
Listen, you ain't got to, man. But Aiden Hutchinson, man, he was chilling on the sideline and got a pick, man.
Aiden Hutchinson sucks. I hate him. I hate the Lions. I hate them.
Aiden going crazy, man.
I can't wait for them to lose to the Packers, not make the playoffs. And they're going to lose to the Packers on last minute. They were up by 14 in the fourth quarter. Aaron Rodgers comes back, hits him with the 2-point conversion, discount double check to the crowd. And then they're not going to make the playoffs. Then they're going to be totally distraught, and they're going to fall apart and crumble, and then ruin once again another one of my favorite young player careers in Jameson Williams. I hate the Lions.
They're gonna get the youngest Sewell brother. And
they'll get Noah. They'll get Noah, and they'll ruin Noah too. The Lions could get Marvin Harrison Jr. and Arch Manning, and they would still mess it up.
Bro, I still got money on Marvin Harrison transferring to Texas to play with Arch. I got it.
Matt, you know what's funny? I even have a Lions jersey. I got a Lions jersey.
Barry?
Yeah, a Barry. That's why I hate
that's why you don't like him. Yeah, I know. That's why you don't like him.
Barry and Calvin. You can't ruin maybe the two most electrifying players in the history of football, and they ruin their careers, and then they try and get pity from everyone. No, I hate them. I truly hate the Detroit Lions. I wish they went 0-16 every year and had a new coach every time.
Nah, also, man, this new coach, he's bringing some life in that facility, man. I
hate Dan Campbell.
Hey, man.
I hate him.
Hey, man.
He's the worst. Screw Dan Campbell.
Man, listen, I take any coach that knows about football and motivates his guys. Hell, if you give me Mike Tomlin right now, I wouldn't be mad at that because Mike Tomlin's still rocking with his guys. He knows his guys are young and they still got a lot of work to do, but he's pushing them on, like keeping Kenny Pickett out there in the games and like rocking with him is like it's showing a lot of trust. And shout out to that Pittsburgh organization. And they always find a way to make themselves relevant.
You know, it's gonna be really funny, absolutely hilarious. When the Steelers make the playoffs and my take of the AFC North being the best division in football and having 3 playoff teams comes true, even though they're definitely not the best division in the NFL. But if they get 3 playoff teams, it would be hilarious. Dude, over the AFC East, it would be so funny because the AFC East is so much better.
No, it's the NFC East, dude.
Nah.
The NFC East has 3 playoff teams.
Not
locked in already.
They have 3 locked in? Oh, the Giants are locked in. The Giants locked in. But the rate, no. I'm taking the AFC North.
Dude, this year they've played the best. If Washington starts Heineke, they win like 12 games, but they decide to keep rolling back to Carson Wentz.
Matt, you know what?
We don't even know it's an elimination game.
Carson Wentz
let's
was the
start
right
Carson
call.
Wentz, and he throws 3 picks. I wanted to look this up. I think Carson Wentz lost every single game this year. I believe
that's not true. I think you won 1 game.
Okay, well, if he won 1 game, then Heineke was absolutely incredible. Let's see. Okay, he went 2-5 this year. So let's see what Heineke went.
He went like 3-0 on my fantasy team. Dude was throwing like 280 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Bro, Heineke went 5-3-1. Like their team is just I don't think Heineke's anything like crazy, but like Wentz is horrible, bro. He can't. You know how you guys are complaining about Tyler Huntley not being able to push the ball downfield? Carson Wentz does the same exact shit. Like I'm serious, dude. He check down. He just throws a bunch of picks too. He's so cooked. But it's crazy. Because that year on the Eagles, he was legit. He was so good that year.
But you can tell who can make a bounce back from an injury and who can't. And Carson Wentz has been shit since his injury in Philly. And then he lost his motivation and drive when Nick Foles came in and damn near saved the day.
Honestly, I think Nick Foles ruined Carson Wentz's career. Like, he gave him a ring for free and then was like, yep, here you go. And with the Ravens, like, looking forward, okay, Matt, I want to see an outside perspective. If you're, we'll say, Eric DaCosta, Ravens do what they're expected to do. They lose in the first round of the playoffs. Shocker. Probably don't run the ball in the second half, even though they're averaging probably like 7.5 yards per carry and winning. But they blow a lead. What are you doing in the offseason? If you're the general manager, what are you doing? Who are you hiring? Who are you? Are you signing certain positions? You don't have to give me player names or whatever, but what are you doing?
Well, I already told you. You cannot have Greg Roman. 0% that you can bring him back. And you trade for like a DeAndre Hopkins, or you try to someone like that. If you DeAndre Hopkins, if you insert DeAndre Hopkins with Lamar Jackson, they would be absolutely disgusting with each other. That is a really, really good combo. And you hope to get more. You draft weapons. You keep building around the offense. But I mean, I think ideally you want to fire Harbaugh too and just kind of reset it. Be like, look, Lamar, we're doing this, because you got to figure out a way to keep Lamar. If you don't keep Lamar, then you're gonna suck for a while. So I don't advise blowing it up when you have Lamar Jackson on your team. But you got to find a way to keep him. And I don't think he wants to. Dude, I don't think like a lot of these guys they all think Greg Roman's incompetent. And if your quarterback, who you're trying to extend for like $150, $200 million, thinks your offensive coordinator is incompetent and that he's getting like screwed by him, which it looks like he is, and also like what's been built around him, like you have to fix that if you're going to keep him. Like, look at like the way that most teams, what they do when their quarterback's about to get signed or right before they extend him. They go and they trade for a bunch of guys and they go, all right, like, you see what we're buying into you. The Ravens have done everything but buy into Lamar Jackson.
They said, hey, you know your best friend, Marquise Brown?
We're going to trade him.
Bye. Say your farewells.
And like everybody talks about, how was Lamar and the Ravens? Yeah, it's giving David Ruffin and the Temptations type of energy. For the simple fact that, the way this offensive scheme was built up, you can't make nothing happen without electrifying quarterback. We saw what happened with Colin Kaepernick under Greg Roman's offense. It was pretty damn decent. Got to the Super Bowl. We saw what happened with Tyrod Taylor and the Bills. Pretty damn decent. And I think they made it to the playoffs, so got a couple wins. And you saw what happened in 2019 with probably arguably the best quarterback that has ran Greg Roman's offense. He won unanimous MVP. Now he reaches his plateau. Do
you see this comment?
Who said something? Uh-oh. Wow. Hey, Kai. Which, you know what? You got a dog profile, bro. I'm not even gonna flame your ass up. But if you want to talk some zesty shit, you can talk some zesty shit.
Bro, I just saw that pop up and I was like, what the heck? That was the most random thing I've ever seen.
Tell you, man. But you know what? You gotta love it, man. You gotta embrace it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, man. God damn. I don't even want to talk no more. Nah, I ain't gonna do it, man. I ain't gonna do it.
Oh my gosh. Oh man. It's kind of funny when you look at the way that the Ravens have gone about Lamar Jackson's career, because I can't think of a player that's come into a career in the history of the NFL and done well, because there's been players where it's like the team botched their young career and they got screwed over and it sucked, but they weren't playing to a great level, right? You could argue Sam Darnold, right? If he had come into the right situation, maybe it could have worked out, but he sucked. But I think also the Jets blew it. Lamar Jackson came in and had the best start to a career for his age ever. Most wins under a certain age. Most wins ever under 25. And the Ravens botched it still. And it was like, this dude is carrying your team so hard. And they were like, okay, 2019, this is who we're going to, like, let's go through the Ravens team and how they've done things. Because the biggest way they've built is through the draft. And the 2019 draft was atrocious for the Ravens. Because they got basically nobody. They went out and they got Hollywood Brown, obviously. I think that was a decent pick. People hate that pick. Whatever. I don't care. Second pick was Jalen Ferguson. Rest in peace. Third pick was Miles Boykin. Fourth pick, Justice Hill. Justice Hill is a decent special teams player. I'm not going to say that's a bad pick, but fifth pick, Ben Powers. Offensive lineman. Fine. The legend Amon Marshall was next, who never played a game in his career because he was on IR every year. Dalen Mack, who was re-signed and just cut by the Ravens. And then finally, Trace McSorley, who was the third string quarterback for the Ravens behind RG3 in 2019. They were like, okay, we're going to follow that up with the 2020 NFL draft. And they went, and in 2019, you have to give some credit because I believe they added Marcus Peters, and then the next year they added Calais Campbell, which was fine. But first pick, Patrick Queen. Terrible selection. Second pick, J.K. Dobbins. I think that was a fine pick. Matabike, good. Duvernay, Malik Harrison, Tyree Phillips, Ben Bredeson, Broderick Washington, James Prochet, Geno Stone. Every single one of those players that I just named are improperly used by coaches. Improperly used. They brought in Greg Roman. Like, I like Duvernay. I like Prochet, but they're not used. So, like, even when they add weapons, they don't. It's like they get them a new computer, but they don't tell them the password. They're like, but we gave you this new MacBook. And they're like, yeah, what's the Wi-Fi? Like, can I use it? Or, like, does it just have to look pretty on my desk?
Dude, the one thing that I've noticed with Greg Roman is that he has no idea how to use his receivers. Like, he ran the same offense. Check this out. When the Niners had Anquan Boldin and Michael Crabtree and Kaepernick, they ran the same offense that they run right now. But the difference is that you have Demarcus Robinson, like 5'8" Demarcus Robinson, running plays that Anquan Boldin used to run for the Niners 10 years ago, 12 years ago. And they like view him as like he's going to do the same kind of stuff. It's like, dude, this is a completely different type of player. You can't start running
he
like...
He uses Rashad Bateman and Hollywood Brown the exact same way.
Yeah, like...
Which makes no sense. Like, does Greg Roman watch film on college players? Because
they stopped using Duvernay. They also stopped using Duvernay.
Dude, Duvernay's comp was Deebo Samuel. That was my comp coming out of college. But this was Deebo Samuel in like 2019, not Deebo Samuel today. I don't think Duvernay could be Deebo today. But Deebo coming out of college was like, okay, he can run out of the backfield a little bit. He's physical. He can go over the middle. It's like, yeah, he can do this. And then they brought him in and they were like, he's going to run jet sweeps.
They don't even try to get the ball in his hand. They'd rather throw Ricard a screen than
dude, they do throw Ricard screens. And
I know.
Dude, the Patrick Ricard screens are the most actually the Patrick Ricard 10-yard outs and corner routes and wheel routes are the most infuriating playing Greg Roman's play.
I'm say Patrick Ricard has some of the best route running out of our receivers and tight ends.
like Greg Roman's go-to play call is like throw Patrick Ricard the ball and hope he breaks 6 tackles and gets 5 yards. Like, that's his go-to. It's like, it's 3rd and 1 and he'll be like, we're going to go. Like, he's like, I think his hero in life and philosophy is John Gruden. And he just goes, we're going to run spider 2-eye banana and hit the fullback every time. But instead of if the fullback being in the fullback spot, he's going to run the corner route that the tight end is supposed to run from spider to wide banana. We're going to hit him. And Patrick Ricard runs more routes than all of the Ravens wide receivers. Like, legitimately, he runs more routes than the Ravens wide receivers. And John Harbaugh acts like he's surprised every week. Matt, did you know John Harbaugh was mad? And he was like, man, he was mad that Gus Edwards was only given 5 carries in the game, or 5 carries in the second half, whatever it was. He was like, yeah, I was pretty mad about that. I'm like, you're the head coach. Put him on the field if you want him on the field.
Wait, that's what he said?
Yeah, hold on. Now I got to find the exact quote. John Harbaugh has no control in the Baltimore Ravens offense.
Sarah Ellison quoted it.
Yeah, she did quote it.
I mean, dude, that's just weird. Like, because like other dynamics, like sometimes you'll have a head coach as a offensive play call, and he won't touch the defense, right?
Yeah.
But usually, like, I don't know, like in a lot of those cases, the other coordinator is good, and like they don't really have like issues with how they're using their personnel because they already are on the same page. You know what I mean? Because like personnel is like you kind of, it's like not completely scripted, but like you know the different types of stuff you're gonna run with certain personnel. So that's really weird. And like you know like how many carries you're trying to get guys. That's the whole point of scripting plays, even if you don't call them like 1 through 10, because like some coaches call it like we got 15 plays scripted. Those are our first 15 plays.
Yeah.
But other guys script plays and then they call them later on in the game. Like they're like, yeah, we have like these 5 that we know we're gonna run, and it's like a unique package. That's so weird.
So Harbaugh said, this is from Jameson Hensley. He says, Ravens coach John Harbaugh is not happy about the decreased carries for running back Gus Edwards. Gus should have played more. There really is no excuse for that. That was his quote. He also said, this was funny. Not funny. It's kind of pathetic and sad. But he said, A+ all around for effort.
Wait, he said that? No way.
I'm trying to find the exact quote.
No way that's real, dude. No way that's real.
No, it's real. It's real.
No, that's what he said. He was like A+. Here we go. Ravens coach John Harbaugh and lost to Steelers. Watching tape, I was impressed with our effort. A+ effort. We just didn't have the result we wanted to have.
One time when I was playing, our quarterback said that, like, hey, like we all played real well. Like, it might have not been a win, but like it felt good. It was, it was a lot hard or whatever. And then got absolutely fucking ripped. Said, you don't ever say that like a loss is a good thing. That's insane for a football coach to say that. That's like really, really wild.
It's insane.
Harbaugh says it all the time. He's like A+ effort. I'm like, bro, it wasn't A+ effort. You didn't give A+ effort.
It's a different when a coach said it to like his flag team, his 5-year-old, 10-year-old kids. Hell, not even the 10-year-olds, like 5 through 8. But when you're on the highest level of highest levels, and you say some shit like that, it's like, yo, come on, dude, you can't be serious, right? You did ass right now. You did ass.
Like how? Like John Harbaugh has no awareness of what Ravens fans are thinking or like what the Ravens organization or even media is talking about. Because for him to come out in a pitiful game, a disappointment, unlike maybe any Ravens game in the last 5 years, and just be like, A+ effort. Like there was, if you lose 55-52, right? And you're like, you know what? We played our heart out. They made a great play at the end. We really did the best that we could. Bro, your team looked like ass. For 4 quarters, you looked bad.
And no real adjustments. No adjustments were made.
Ravens game is in Cincinnati, I think.
Yeah, it is. This last one.
Otherwise, bro, they probably think we're chowning. Let's go, Roman.
No, they know. They know exactly what we're shouting.
But also, Greg Roman sits in the box and, is just eating his Twinkies, like rather than actually figuring out what to call.
Greg Roman literally gets heckled before he goes into the damn stadium. So he
really?
Yeah. He gets heckled going into and leaving the stadium. People are like, You bum, get the fuck out of here.
It's like
Go home.
It's one dude.
Loser.
It's one dude. He always be outside. Yo, come on. It's like he'll Baltimore guy, Baltimore accent, real strong.
Yep.
He'll tell him, hey Roman, you know what the fuck you gotta do, dummy. Like you really gotta tighten the fuck up this game type shit. Like and you know, Greg try to interact, and you're like, nah, I ain't trying to hear none of that shit, man. You know, you gotta coach yourself a good fucking game, you know what I mean? All just really let him have it. And he just try to, you know, make it seem like, you know, everybody cheering him on. No, motherfucker, we not cheering you on. We telling you to get the damn job done. Right? That's ridiculous, man. At this point, he need to go coach somebody's high school team.
I like how some people are making like fat jokes. Spooky J just says Greg Roman is fat.
He is an off-brand Santa Claus, Spooky J.
Bro, he is like, I just like, how does a team, I know there's other franchises that go through it, but teams typically when they want to fire a coach are not good football teams, right? It's like, oh, we're the Broncos and, you know, we've won 3 games. Our coach sucks. Let's fire him. And they've, you know, they're cheering it. The Bears for years with, who was the guy? Who was the Bears coach that they hated? He was bald. For Mitch, Matt Nagy.
Oh.
Fire Matt Nagy. He's terrible because the Bears weren't winning games.
Mm-hmm.
How do you go about firing a coach when he's winning? Because Harbaugh was winning last year, and we were like, this guy needs to be fired because he has no idea what's going on and has no idea how to adjust to anything and fix problems. And yet every single analyst and every single Ravens media person was like, especially the man, the myth, the legend, Ryan Mink, was like, guys, John Harbaugh's winning. You can't slander Greg Roman. He won assistant coach of the year in 2019. That was a legitimate argument, Matt. You can't fire Greg Roman because he won assistant coordinator of the year in 2019. Can't fire him. Because the Ravens had a great, I'm like, dude, Greg Roman had nothing to do with the Ravens' great offense. Lamar Jackson was just insane. Lamar Jackson went 6-1 as a starter his rookie year. He did not need Greg Roman to go 14-2. Actually, technically, Lamar Jackson went 13-2 that year because RG3 started the last game. Still set the rookie rushing record.
So let me ask you this, because what they're doing right now with Lamar is the same thing they did with Rashad Bateman. Do we feel like Lamar won't play playoffs?
Probably not.
I feel like there's a chance.
There was question as if Lamar Jackson doesn't play this week, will he even play in the playoffs? And Harbaugh was like, I don't really know. Like,
yeah,
you need to start Lamar if he can go in the playoffs. Shout out to Engraven, says Harv's leash is longer than like 50 extension cords. But you know he's safe as a home run. Another dad type connection.
No, seriously though. You all know how Harb is. Like, he is a totalitarian. Seriously.
He's a totalitarian, but not even for like a country that people respect, right? You know, it's not like he's like the czar of Russia. He's like the totalitarian of like Jimbo Island with like 6 guys on it. And he's like, come on, guys, we got this. Like, nah, like you can be like Belichick's a totalitarian, but he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I'm about to say it's a difference over in that nation, that country. They actually fear him. He actually get things done.
Like Harbaugh will put his best players in the doghouse because they got emotional at practice.
Oh, seriously. And you know what? What was surprising to me that actually they was actually involved in Isaiah Likely. It seemed like, when Isaiah is in there with Mark, it's like they don't give him a true like route, a good route pattern to like stay away and keep the option open and keep him available from Mark Andrews. It's like they just short dink him or maybe give him an outplay where Mark Andrews is going all the way across the whole dang field and whatnot. It's like, it's enough field for both of them to be on there and actually let them work out, because with a 6-man front, I really thought they was going to start passing the ball more and getting the first downs, but That was too much of me. There was too much hope, and to think they was going to do that.
And kind of to wrap up the stream, big game tonight for the Baltimore Ravens between the Bengals and the Bills, because technically the Ravens can still win the division. But if they
for
win
matchups
the division
too. For matchups too, right?
Yeah, if the Ravens win the division, do you know who they play in the first round, Matt? Pretty sure it's the Bengals. Like almost guaranteed to be the Bengals.
But if they lose, don't want it also probably be the Bengals?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's do you get to play the Bengals at home unless the
locked,
Chargers lose.
Yeah, it's like locked to be like 3-6, right?
Yeah. Technically the Chargers could lose. Who did the Chargers play next week though?
The Broncos.
Yeah, so the Ravens are not getting into the 6 spot or the 5 spot.
Oh yeah, they're going to be road warriors. Come on now.
Actually, we know how the Chargers perform in the last week of the season with playoff implications on the line.
Yeah, they will probably lose.
I don't know if Russell wasn't showing up like that.
Greg Roman makes Matt Patricia look like a good OC.
I mean, they don't have much either. Matt
Patricia doesn't even do anything as OC. Bill Belichick is the OC. You know what he does? He says, Matt Patricia, I'm going to show you 1930s to 1960s football. I'm going to pick 37 plays from those games. You are going to run those plays. That is our offense. You can pick when to run them, but those are our plays. Like, that's legit. Like, the Patriots play football. Like, that's why I love I love watching the Patriots, because it's literally just like Bill Belichick going into his memory bank and being like, all right, this is what they used to run with Jim Brown. I don't care that his name's now Ramondre Stevenson. We're running this offense. Like, oh, is that Mac Jones or is that Fran Tarkenton? Because that's what we're going to run. And if it takes a first-round exit, the problem is every year the Ravens are a first-round exit. They're like, success. Like, they treat first-round exit like a success because they made the playoffs.
They probably did hit their marker as far as, like, revenue or something like that. It has to be some type of bet, like, inside bet for them, like, okay, yeah, if we make it to the first round, we're good. Hey, John, you can stay here a little bit longer. But like, it's something going on internally where, no one's saying, like, you know what, we actually doing a win. Hey, Jonathan, Gregory, pack your bags. I don't know where the hell you guys going to go, but you got to leave Baltimore, man. It's time for you to go.
I have a great analysis. So there's a Netflix original show. It's called what's it called? It's called Alexa and Katie. That's what it is. And it's about this girl. She gets cancer when she's in high school. And she goes through chemo or whatever. Mm-hmm. And in the show, there's an episode where her mom won't punish her because she has the cancer. Mm-hmm. And so she just keeps upping the ante and doing things worse and worse. So, skipping class, failing a test, ruining her clothes, all this thing just keeps going. She's like, I'm not going to get punished. That's Greg Roman and Harbaugh. They're like, what can we do to prove that there's no way that they're going to get rid of? She ends up vandalizing something and then getting stuck. And then it's just and still doesn't get punished. She never gets punished until she asks to be punished. That reminds me of John Harbaugh and Greg Roman. He's like, hey man, watch this. I'm gonna ruin this game right here. Yeah. Nothing. Then in the press conference, it's like in Practical's Jokers. They're like, okay, now say A+ effort, man. Then he says, and they're like, oh, all watching behind that big screen. Greg Roman is laughing his ass off. It's like, all right, Tyler, now you throw this one to the defense. And then you know what you're gonna say? I was trying to make a play. Even though there was no player even in that area, you say, I was trying to make a play. And then when they ask who, say, I don't know, somebody. That's what he said. Bro, what is that?
That's what Tyler Huntley said?
Yeah, he said, well, yeah, what were you doing on that? He's like, I was trying to make a play. They're like, with who? And he's like, I don't know, somebody. He just threw it to the defense. I was like, I was trying to make a play. It's one thing if you throw a jump ball, but he doesn't have the arm strength to make it a jump ball. It's so bad.
Yeah, man, it's been rough for you guys this year.
At this point, start Anthony. like I said, I wasn't hoping nothing bad happened to Tyler Huntley.
You don't want to see him anymore.
I kind of was wishing Anthony Brown got in the game.
Joshua, you were wishing bad. You said my prediction is Tyler Huntley gets injured and Anthony Brown plays.
Not
that would have been
great. Not injured that bad, man. Just a twisted ankle where he had to just sit down just for a little bit. That's all. Just sit down.
So you guys don't feel too confident about the Bengals in the playoffs, huh?
Well, the question here's the question: is Lamar Jackson playing? Because then it's a 20% chance the Ravens win. If Tyler Huntley plays, it's a 20% chance the Ravens are within 50.
The problem is that even though your guys' defense is good,
we're 1-0 against the Bengals this year, Matt. I won't
really?
have this slander. Yeah, we beat the Bengals Sunday Night Football.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. That was way earlier though, right?
Yeah, it was with Lamar.
Yeah.
Game-winning field goal for Justin Tucker.
I think you should just rock with Anthony Brown next game, see what he's got.
We
and
should
then start Lamar in the playoffs.
No, we're gonna start Tyler Huntley. Even though Anthony Brown's on the 53 members, they're going to rock with Tyler Huntley.
It's weird.
I don't know how any team would bench Tyler Huntley in this situation. Any team.
And the thing about it, we do know that they actually will put passing plays in for Anthony Brown. They did the same thing with Josh Johnson last year.
Greg Roman actually did call a good game for Josh Johnson.
They actually ran a 2-minute offense with Josh Johnson. And he was moving the ball down the field. Like, it's crazy. But I guess because they feel like Tyler Huntley is the second coming of Lamar Jackson, which he's not. If you're gonna talk about second coming, the second coming would be that young man that is coming out of University of Louisville, which is Malik Cunningham. That's just my opinion. That's the only. If Lamar leaves and they keep John and Greg, I see them actually drafting Malik Cunningham.
We better not draft Malik Cunningham.
If we let,
if Lamar Jackson leaves, I'm done with mobile quarterbacks. I don't care. I don't care. I'm so done. I'm like, give me Mac Jones. We're trading for Mac Jones if we lose Lamar. I need Kirk Cousins. All right. I need the least mobility you could possibly have. Is Matt Ryan still in the NFL? Bring over Matt Ryan. All right. He's not here to make friends.
So is that just to create the implosion?
Yes. Absolutely.
You got Greg Roman running zone read with Matt Ryan.
Dude, he would run zone read.
He would probably try it on the goal line one time, and then Matt Ryan would get severely injured because he's running zone read on the goal line. Dude, I could see something like that going down.
I forgot about this game. Marlon Humphrey absolutely clamped in the Ravens-Bengals game. Jamar Chase had 12 targets in that game, but only 7 receptions for 50 yards and no touchdowns. Patrick Queen got abused, though. Hayden Hurst had 6 receptions for 53 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, the Ravens played really well against the Bengals this year. They also sacked Burrow 3 times.
They don't have a good offensive line, but I will say that Joe Burrow is playing a little bit like Tom Brady in the sense of he may even though he may be down, he does find a way to get himself back into a winning position and win the game. So as much as we would like for the Bills to come out with the W, I see Cincinnati winning tonight.
Here's what I think happens.
You think the Bills do tonight?
I win in fantasy football.
I think the Bills lose.
I need to win in fantasy football, Matt. I don't know if you know this. I still have a chance to win. I'm supposed to lose by 20, but I'm going up against Josh Allen and Gabe Davis. Guess how much I'm winning by right now?
How much?
10.
Yeah, it's over.
So here's what's going to happen.
The James Cook Show?
7 consecutive pick sixes by the Buffalo Bills, and they rest the starters.
What a bag on it.
I think the Bills win because this is a statement game for the Bills. They believe they should have played. I said the same thing when they played the Chiefs. This is a statement game for them because they believe that they 100% should have played the Bengals in the playoffs last year. And they know that they would have beaten the Bengals last year.
Yeah.
I don't know if they would have, but they know that.
Yeah. Also, McCon, I don't know if I told you, but in my fantasy championship, I got some life too. I need Jamar Chase to slightly come through. I need 10 catches for 350 yards and 6 touchdowns.
And 6 touchdowns.
Whoa, that is
Like,
NCAA.
yeah, I need that. That's all I need.
Matt's gonna get the 10 catch, 350 yards, 5 touchdowns. No, 6 touchdowns, and then he fumbles the ball to end the game. They do what they do is last play of the game, they're down by 6, and they do a hook and lateral, and Jamar Chase does the final lateral that gets turned over, and it's -2 points for him.
Yeah, because the other guy drops it.
Because he laterals it and it gets intercepted. It's the whatever happened. It was the Patriots Raiders game that happens.
Yeah, so when Jamar Chase does that tonight, you guys know that I'll be happy.
Don't worry, Matt. At least he won't get clamped like Justin Jefferson didn't. Because apparently, if a star wide receiver does absolutely nothing all game, it's not being clamped. It's all quarterback's fault.
That was honestly I think that was, in terms of any like shit talking or anything all year, that was definitely the best moment when Jair did the gritty on JJ.
Oh yeah,
that was hilarious. And then they got him with the big hat afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that was so funny. I saw that and I was like, dude, he's doing this on 2nd down. Like, there's still another play to go. And then I was like, oh damn, they're not.
Well, and then he got into a fight with him.
Yeah, let's be real. It was 100% PI. That was the only pass interference missed in that game. All right, everyone. I think let's wrap this up. You know, hopefully the Bills win tonight. Actually, I don't care who wins tonight. I hope the Bills win tonight. I'd like the Ravens to win the division because it'd be really sad for the Bengals if they lose back-to-back games going into the playoffs. And then they have to play in Baltimore. But shout out to everyone for coming through. Subscribe for daily Ravens content. Shout out to Matt for coming through. That did not expect this to be an hour and 20-minute live stream. But it's always fun to talk Ravens football. And we'll see all of you again next time. Oh, man.